Was discussing with Gulbar regarding any of the patches are there in your system. He's saying there is no patch as such. And I gave him the patch number and all, and he's going to upload, and we need to test it on your instance. So I just want to know, is the problem with my instance or the patch? I don't know. Due to some reason, I'm facing a couple of issues. I'll start out. Probably today I'm going to akswave Institute, and I'll find the root cause and sort out the issue. So today we look into the one of the clone one of the cloning step, like running pre-clone. I'll show you. Okay, what else I can show? Yeah, I'll show you a couple of scripts related to the cloning today. Hmm? Where is the data? Yes. So let me shut down the application first. See, we discussed in the previous session. We discussed about the cloning and the pre-clone method and all, right? So here we are looking into the pre-clone method and what the pre-clone script will be doing. Okay, that part we will discuss now. Basically, this pre-clone utility is nothing but ad preclone.pl. It's a Perl script. Okay, the complete rapid clone utility has executed. I mean, has designed in a Perl. So either for pre-clone or cloning, we will be using Perl only. So we will be executing Perl on. I mean, we need to execute Perl script on both of the nodes. Okay, on application node and database node. Basically, this Perl script will be creating a folder called clone, and it will keep all the template files along with the CFG clone. Okay, that we'll see how exactly it will be doing and all. So actually, you can run the script when the services are up and running. Okay, so this should be executed on source machine is nothing but the production in our case in the real time. It would be production. So it's not necessary to bring down the or bring down any of the service to execute adpreclone.pl. Okay, so this script. Okay, absolutely. Okay. So if you see there is no clone folder. Oh, there is a clone folder. Okay, let's move this clone folder to some other. So if you look into data, stage, stage is not right. Okay, the existing clone folder we have moved to some other. There is no clone folder now. So let's go to this. Basically, this is the script ad preclone.pl. Okay, so in our previous, okay, different laptop. Okay, so in our previous discussion, the pre-clone on source machine, as I said, you need to run the auto config. You know how to run. You need to maintain the snapshot. You know how to run the maintain snapshot, and you need to execute latest rapid clone patch and the technology stack patch that we would be seeing later. I mean, how to apply and all. Okay, and what else? What else? Yeah, that's all. I mean, those are the prerequisites need to perform, and as I said, they are once in a while activity, and even this one also is you don't need to do each and every time normally unless you apply any major changes which will update the template. Okay, so normally, I mean, if you are doing your cloning very frequently, you don't need to do. Okay, so if you are doing 3 months once or 4 months or more than 3 months, it's better to recreate the clone folder in the sense better to run the adp.clone.pl. Okay, so for this, the mandatory thing is database and its listener should be up and running. That's the mandatory stuff. And the application it doesn't mind like it won't be nothing to do with the services and all. It will just capture the template files and keep it in the clone folder. That's all. Right. So always you will be running the clone. I mean, Perl script like this. Perl adp.clone.pl. A parameter you need to provide that's called dbtr. Okay, it would be asking apps password. When you are copying, when you are copying source machine to the target machine, this clone folder should go to that location because as part of target configuration, you need to execute cfg clone.pl. Usually that cfg clone.pl will be located in clone folder only. Okay, in the sense, your pre-clone.pl will be creating the cfg clone.pl. So, without running this ad pre-clone.pl, you can't perform post configuration. Post in the sense, sorry, the target machine configuration. Well, this is how it will be, and the log file is also located here. Okay, so let's see. So, so it has created one more folder called clone. You can see clone just now it has created. Okay. Oops. So here you can see a bin folder. Inside the bin folder you would be seeing here is cfgclone.pl. This is the file you need to execute as part of configuring the application. I mean configuring the either application or database on both the sides. Okay, in the target side. I mean. So the other things are and all template related files. The template files. So it will be capturing all the template files from the source machine. Okay, we'll be transferring these files to the target side as part of performing copy. And when you run CFG clone, it would be asking some of the parameters like your target machine host name, target machine domain name, target machine operating system, target machine that display settings, so UTL directory. Okay, so something like it would be asking them the information about the target machine. With that information, it would be creating a new XML file based on the target machine host name and domain name and the other details, and you got the XML file and you got a template files which are copied from the source machine. So with the help of XML and template files, it will recreate all the configuration file, and anyway product will be there, product files anyway will be copying. So with the help of this configuration file, it will bring up the services. The CFG clone itself will bring up the services. Okay, theoretically, this is how it will happen. The conflict inside, and when we execute in the real, you'll be understanding, you'll be getting the more clarity. So you got this point, you got this right. Running preclone.pl from the source, and for this database and listener should be up and running. That I'll make a note here. Okay, so when you come to the application side, this would be under scripts. Okay, I need to provide. This is the script location. Okay, the application side. Okay, okay. Again, same note here also. Okay, and script location. Here. Okay. So the same thing. Call ad preclone.pl apps tier. This is what you need to specify. Okay. The database side, you would be providing DB tier. Okay, and it's a case sensitive. Make sure T capital. Okay, and here also T capital. It is also case sensitive. So it would be asking WebLogic admin password. Oops, it's my mistake. Unnecessarily I have turned on the services. Here in our environment, since we have not many machines, so for cloning and all, what we would be doing is we'll work with the same machine and a small scenario. We won't be copying to any other machine, okay? And we can do if you want. But it would be a time-consuming process. What we'll do is first we'll bring down, okay, run pre-clone source machine, okay. Next, it's like taking a backup, right? So instead of taking a backup, bring down all services database, okay. Create OS users. Okay, this is applicable to all this environment. It won't be in real time at all. Okay, it's just to save our time and to make our practice easy. Okay, we'll be doing with this approach. What will be happening is source machine will go off. Okay, so it is almost like crashing the source machine and creating the target machine. Create OS users for target. Okay, something like that. appl clone or clone. Okay, so let's say u01 appl clone is the default this one. Okay, so we will move the file system. Okay, the copy, if you have a sufficient disk space, yes, you can do it there itself. I mean, you can copy it, or if you don't have a sufficient disk space in your practice environment, move or copy slash u01 prod, right? To prod is the existing one. Okay, to u01 if sorry Vara clone. Okay. Next, APPL prod U01 APPL clone. Next. Okay. Verify permissions. Okay. And then perform uh, configure database. You know, Oracle application. Oh, APPL flow. Okay, so this is what we would be doing. The only difference from the real time and current, this one you won't be doing. Okay, this is basically offline clone, in the sense cold backup clone. Okay, so you won't be doing this in real time. Okay, this will be there in target machine anyway. We will be copying, we won't be moving. Okay, we will be copying to the target machine. Okay, so here we were doing inside the machine. Okay, inside the machine, and in the real time you would be copying to the target machine, this one and this one. Okay, and this one anyway will be doing. The only difference is, instead of moving to the some other machine and doing some other thing, we will be doing here itself. That's what. This is how we would be doing the clone. Okay, so as a practice, you just check your instance details, like how big your database. Or you can do one thing. Okay, so suppose, okay, Ashik and Mohit. So Ashik, you just remove your file system. Okay, and Mohit will be, on the Mohit machine will be running the pre-cloned PL, and we will tar it. Okay, or zip it or tar it, and we will be copying that tar. We will ask Gulba to copy all entire file system to the Ashik machine, and there we will like untar it or unzip it. And then after creating the two clone users or new test users, you'll be copying to that location, and you will be extracting those files and all, and you will be performing CFG clone there. You can do in, you can, it's a bit similar to the real time basically. So depends on your comfort, you can try it out. So copy doesn't matter. Like, it's one time. Once we know the process in that particular environment, that's it. Okay, so we don't need a big practice of copy. Also, only thing what we need to know is, you need to understand. See how CFG clone is running, what and all parameters it is asking, what how exactly it is working. Okay, so this and all we need to know basically. The other things, like, I'll be sharing you to change to make sure the profiles are okay or not. I'll share you the script, and to clean up the clone. To clean up the fnd underscore nodes again. I'll share you the script. Okay, and if you want, I can share you the duplicated database. Creating the duplicated database also, that also I can share. Okay, the other comments until anyway, couple of documents I have already shared you, and the other other notepad. I got one clone notepad. That notepad I will be sharing with you. So by seeing itself, you will be understanding that's a bit database skills also required. So by seeing them, you would be understanding, as you are already good in database. Okay, so we have done right. Perl ad pre clone.pl. As I said, have to. In previous environments like 11.5, 10, or 9, or R12.1, it would be asking apps password here too, like how it has asked in database. So make sure you are taking a database backup properly or not, without any errors or anything. It should be a clean backup. Whether it's no matter it's a cold backup or hot backup. Otherwise, it's a time waste basically. Again, you need to initiate the backup on the source machine, and it would take a couple of hours. And again, taking that backup to the target machine and testing it back again, it would be a very time consuming process. Usually for cloning and all, in my environment, I used to get 3 to 4 days. Okay, at least 3 days, minimum 3 days, they would be giving to me. And by any chance, if it is really, really required, they will ask us to work extra or a night or something, and they will ask us. They used to compensate, but normally it will take 3 days. Okay, one day to prepare the source machine, like taking the backups and zipping them and performing the copy, like initiating the copy from source to the target and all takes one day, and another day is running the CFG clone on source side and the database side. Okay, normally restoration will take, mine is around 2 TB database, so the restoration will take half day, more than half day basically. So after restoration, configuring the database and configuring the application, since mine is it is two two external, two internal, and six external. So 8 node architecture, 8 application node, and one database node. So you need to configure the target machine all 8 nodes. So the second day I would be second day, and almost half of the third day I would be dedicating to the application configuration and the database configuration. So another half day I would be performing the post clone steps and that, and the fourth day sometime performing, I mean, do the system test, means I have to submit the system to the functional and a developer to say go or no go. So they would be testing. So by fourth day sometime I would be hand over into the testing, I mean testing team, in the sense of functional and technical people. They will be testing it, and further, okay, depends on the cause, the purpose of that clone, how, why we have created the clone. Depends on that, the further actions will be taken. It's usually 3 to 4 days minimum. And again, as I said, it company to company to vary. Sometimes that depends on the requirement. They may ask you to do a quick clone, so that okay. See, certain things, the restoration time and configuration time, this and all, it won't change. Like it will take the same amount of time. Depends on the database size and all. So you can't, even if you sit extra hours, there won't be any big deal basically. So just make sure, before you commit the time frame and all, you have to be very careful, particularly in this cloning part. And definitely, if it is implementation, that's a different story. But 90% you would be going as a support DBA, and the outside market is for support DBA as of now. So the support DBA, matlab, already these cloning procedures and all will be predefined, and the documentation will be already set. So you won't be seeing any issue. You would be knowing, like you would be getting the KT, like how long it will take usually. Yeah. Accordingly, you can plan yourself. You can monitor this also. If you want. If there is no clone folder in common top, it would be recreating. Otherwise, it will override the existing clone folder. It won't be taking any backup on that. So if you are performing pre-clone, better you go there and take a backup of the particular folder. There is no use, but it's a habit. It will be overriding the inventory as well. But anyway, we are scrapping that machine, so there is no pointing in keeping the inventory. Okay, we are recreating the test machine, isn't it? So, but safe side, what I would be doing in my environment, before running, okay, the service will be up and running basically. This target machine, the services and the configuration, everything will be well and good. Only to get the latest data, we would be cloning. So, for the safe side, what I would be doing is, I'll take a backup of all the configuration files. Okay, so I'll keep aside. So after running the CFG clone and after configuring the target machine, by any chance, if my Apache server means my web server is not coming up, before deleting the file system and all, I have taken the backup, right, the configuration backup. I'll cross verify this configuration with that configuration, and I'll see by any chance if the clone not changed any of the parameter, or I would be understanding like see. Before clone, my web server is up and running, and after clone this is not up and running, so something wrong with the configuration only, right? So I will be cross verifying that configuration. My troubleshooting will be a bit easy if I have a existing configuration, okay, and up and run, I mean healthy configuration files. So I always keep aside. Okay, I have written myself. I mean, I have written one shell program that will copy entire file system to different location. Like I'll take the backup of the XML file, I'll take the backup of web configuration file, I'll take the backup of TNS entries. Okay, in the database side, I'll be taking the backup of the init.ora and the TNS entry files and the appsutl folder. Okay, so something like, it's a safe side. It's not like, if you don't do it, it won't continue or something like that. So it's safe side if you can keep it, after performing the clone and all. Okay, so if you want to cross verify any of the configuration before and after what happened, I mean before clone and after clone what happened and all, it will be easy for you to get the difference between that and this. And it's not a standard clone procedure also. I mean standard clone step also. Okay, it's a different depends basically. So I do it like this. So before deleting the target machine, I'll execute my shell script. Okay, I can share you my script also. Okay, so you will understand like it's a plain shell program basically. I'll share you that script. It will be creating in one location, it will be creating clone underscore today data. Okay, one folder it will create and copy all the file system to that. It should be in my hard disk. I'll share you. Before performing any of the technology stack patching, I'll be doing the same thing. I'll generate the configuration. I'll run the script. It will just a configuration files only, right? It will be 2 MB or 3 MB altogether. Okay, so there is no point in creating. You can create 100 folders like that. Just create your own folder and move all this file system to that particular folder. So before running the technology stack patches and all, okay. So if I'm before running the auto config, so instead of running the auto config in test mode, I'll be executing this and I'll keep a copy of all the configuration file in some particular location. Once after running the auto config, or once I run the CPU patches, or once I run the interoperability patch, or once I run the any of the technology stack patch, by any chance if my services are not coming up, I'll see which service is not coming up, means your web server. Okay, web server configuration file, and here and there I'll cross verify. So I'll be understanding, okay, the difference between that and this is so I'll try to replace the existing configuration with here, and I'll try to bounce the services and my troubleshooting will be a bit easy if I have something to compare it, some healthy stuff to compare it. So if you like the process, you can also habitude this particular process. It's always safe approach. Nobody will be asking you to do like this. It's your personal secured stuff. It'll take little time basically. Even to recreate the DB links and all. Okay, I do a pre-configured shell program and I'll keep it aside. So whenever I wanted to again writing the create, I mean writing the what do you call that statement, like preparing that command manually always. You know that the source machine name you never change, source and the target machine name never change. The target configuration it never change even if you scrap it. When you are recreating it, the same file name, same naming convention you would be using. So if you already create a ready-made scripts like we need to recreate our jar file, prepare one script and keep put it in a sh file. Okay, so that point of time, at the time of configure post configuration on the target side, instead of typing the command that time, you'll simply execute the shell program that will do everything. Okay, to I used to create, like, for changing the passwords, I would create one file. For uh, recreating what you call this DB links and all, I'll recreating the database directories, DB directories. I'll create one shell program. Okay, something like that. For every post configuration step, I would create standard shell programs, and one by one program I will be executing. At that time, I don't need to search for the command and the syntax and the other thing. Simply, I'll execute one by one, and that would make my life easy basically. That's how I used to do. And it sometimes so your company also will recommend you to create one consolidated script to perform all these post configuration things. So some companies may create such a files, and if nothing is there, it's up to you. Okay, so you go by one. Okay, or you create yourself, you initiate something. Okay, it's a shell scripting is always added advantage to any of the database administrator. It can be a code DB or a apps DBA. Okay, so if you don't know, just put some efforts to understand the shell program, and at least in the Google and all we will be getting. Okay, so for every example you will get some code in Google. Take it, and only thing is you don't need to write any of the shell program from the scratch. Only thing is, if you are in a position to amend the existing shell program, that's more than enough. So when you got some time, you try to get some knowledge on shell programming. So many of the things you can, many of the repeated tasks, whatever you got, that you can automate. If somebody asks, how many users have been connected to your system, okay, that time writing a select connecting to the database, writing the select statement, it will be difficult, right? Put everything in one shell program and execute that, it will generate a report, and who and all, how many users got connected at that particular point of time. Okay, so something like, so whatever activities daily you are performing, that activities try to make it automated. That will make your life simple, and don't share it to anybody. That's your, if it is really your personal stuff, keep it with you only. If manager or someone advise it to do that, you have to share it to team definitely. But such smart things and all, you don't need to tell. Okay, just to make yourself comfortable, you will be doing such a things. Okay, I'll do one. Yeah, it's going on. It's almost completed. Yep. This is the execution. Okay. So I'll share this notepad to you, and tomorrow we will be doing the post clone. Okay, let's finish this clone, and then we'll move to patching stuff. By the time I'll find out the root cause and the problem with my system or the environment or the patch or whatever. I'll try to find out, and we'll perform the patch practice once we finish this clone part. Okay, as of now, what we'll be doing is, see, to show the demo, I'll be following this particular approach on my environment. I'll scrap it in my environment and okay, and for your practice, if you're okay with this, and we can continue this, or else, as I said, so two of the two guys sit together and plan accordingly, like a performing copy or tarring, untarring. Maybe it will be easy for you. I mean, it's a good practice also. I mean, tar, untar, zip or unzip, performing copy, this and that. If you want to do, yes, you can do. The copying is not a big deal, but still, if you want to follow the entire structure, yes, I mean, two of the guys sit together and one system just are you see. I mean, if you are having enough space, check with the Gulba. If you are or you just go to DF minus H voltage, just check it out like how what is the free space available and that space is sufficient to create another machine or not. You just check it out. If it is if the sufficient disk space is there, and you don't need to touch the machine at all. You can create a new users, or you can request if you don't have the root access, you ask Bulba to create a two or new users, and you can do anything is okay. Okay, in our case, practice is running the pre-clone.pl and running the post-clone.pl. CFG clone.pl is the major practice stuff, and the other things and all already. Okay, it's let's see. Or you can try one more thing, like instead of going for the database cold backup method, you can try it hard backup method. Take a database RMAN backup and duplicate it to the that also you can try. Do some experiments, and if you come across an issue, anyway, I'll be there. I'll help you out to come out of those issues. All right. So that's all for the day. Okay. So see you tomorrow and continue our cloning stuff. All right. Could you please share some blog details for shell scripting? Yeah, I can do. See, basically, there is no need of blog and all. Only thing is you just design one program like, okay, I want to recreate, or I want to copy some files from one location to another location. With that, usually I don't follow any blog and all. So depends on the requirement. I'll just go to the Google and I'll put that whatever my requirement. Okay, copy files, shell program, enter. Okay, some of the examples will be coming. I'll take one of the example and I'll change accordingly. Something like that. I used to do. So you can do one thing. I'll share some of my whatever I have written. Some of the shell programs which I have written. I can share it to you. You just try to read. You will be understanding how exactly I have done. And to take the backup, I used to. I mean, I have created one for the database backup, one for database file system. I have created one shell program, and for for restoration, I have created one shell program. For restoring the untarring the file system application and database, different files, something like it's to make. I mean, it's not mandatory to write these things and all. You can there and there itself you can write a tar hyphen. I mean, what is that? A tar hyphen CVF and the file name and the folder name, something like that. You can write it, and since you are doing repeatedly, if you do, if you put together in a shell program, it will be easy for you. I'll share you some of the shell programs which I am having. Okay, go through it, and again, when you got any requirement, with that requirement, search it in the Google. You will find something related to that, and take it and change it accordingly. That's all. It doesn't require any basics training, learning the basics, blah blah blah. You don't need to go through from the scratch. Basically, by seeing the script itself, you will be understanding it. So shell program is a very easy one. It's a plain English. All right. So see you tomorrow. No problem. No problem. See you tomorrow and have a nice day. So Ashik, I think you have missed some of the classes, and there are some present video presentation I have uploaded. Go through it. Okay. If you come across any issue or doubt, do let me know. Okay. See you guys. See you tomorrow. Same time. Bye bye.